Welcome in, sports fans. Today on the Boom Bust Dynasty Trade Show, we have currently 11 trades in the queue to get through, but we will also be taking your trades live as we go through here. Whoa, right away, right off the top of the show, we got Heart Me coming in from Friendly Exchange. Thank you very much. I appreciate each gift that comes through. Thank you very much. For today, like I said, we have 11 trades in the queue. Let's get the first trade out there. And then after we hit the first trade, we'll go through how to get your trades submitted for the show. Trade number one, I'm going to click it. And this is a trade where I've already looked at it. And this is one of the trades where I think we got to just continuously make more clear features of this site, because we have a trade here. Carnell Tate for Wan'Dale Robinson, Malik Washington, but we have some notes attached. There's a 16 team, 1 quarterback, start 8. Another day, another trade, exactly right. But we have notes attached on the trade, and maybe I need to add the notes that I see from the submitting user onto the screen, because we have notes here saying I get the 201, 204, 208 and Wan'Dale and Malik Washington for Carnell Tate. The site does let you submit your picks in the trade, so we don't have to type in all of the picks involved. I'm looking at this deal for someone who has Carnell Tate. Would I move him for all of these picks? It's a 16 team league, so the 201, 204, 208, it's not the same as the 201 in a 12-team league. We do need to call out that everything's going to get shifted back 4 picks. So the 201 is not pick 13, it's 4 picks after that. And there's just so many guys there that I don't care about. I just don't care about. So looking at this deal for Brady Tay, I'm going to take the upside play of Carnell Tate. Like, I like Wan'Dale Robinson fine, but as the main piece that you're getting back for Carnell Tate and then nothing else, this seems like a classic situation of you're trading the best player for a bunch of junk. If you're trading the best player in a lot of deals, unless we're getting like for like objects, trading Puka Nacua for Jamar Chase, where the players in there, you might rank them differently, but they're very close in value. In a situation like this, where Carnell Tate is so much higher value than everything else on the other side, you can't be sending away Carnell Tate and not be sending the worst person in the trade. So Wan'Dale Robinson, Malik Washington, I mean, the 208 is probably the 208 or Malik Washington is probably the worst piece of this deal. And you're bringing it in for sending Carnell Tate away, a player that's going at the 102 level. I'm sticking with Tate. This seems like someone just taking all of the junk that they have on their roster and saying, is this enough junk, sir? Please, sir, is this enough junk? And the reality is they would add a 27 third. They would add 3 more 27 thirds to get this deal across, because it's all just junk. Let's clear that one out. First one reviewed. We said we would hit the first trade of the day. And then as we've got people coming in, if you are looking to get your trade added into the queue, here is how we do it. Like El Gator asking, which side would you rather be on? Nico Collins or Carnell Tate? I'll tell you that I won't tell you unless it comes through the site. Here's how you do it. Here's our website, boombustfantasy.com. Here is the homepage. It is incredibly easy to create your account, sync your sleeper leagues, and then submit your trade questions. It's as easy as this. We do it multiple times on each show as a demo. Here from the homepage, click Get Started. It's going to say sign in or create your account. If you have an account with your Gmail, you can click Continue with Google. If you don't have an account with your Gmail, like I currently don't, you can just click Continue with Google. Since I'm using Google Chrome, it is logged in with my Gmail and my account is already made. It took 1 click. The next thing you do is you type in your sleeper username. There's mine. It's my first name, last name. Feel free to steal my identity. It just went and pulled every league that I'm in Dynasty for 2026. And what you need to do is just click which league do you want to look at first. Here we'll take one of our Boom Bust leagues. It also asks if you want to connect to Discord, where you can take your trades and post them to our Discord with links to your league and your scoring and your rosters. For the demo, we always skip it. There, it pulls your team. If you want to get your trade question answered, El Gator, you then go to trade advice. It's going to take your trade question. You type it in. I think you said Nico Collins or Carnell Tate. And then you add it into, you hit request expert review and click submit for expert review, and that's going to send it into the trade queue for the show. On TikTok, it does not show the current trade queue, but on the YouTube video, they're scrolling across the top of the screen. On YouTube, on Twitch, they're scrolling across the top of the screen, and it also shows the roster of the person who submitted their trade question. So we can look at Nico Collins or Carnell Tate. How does it fit the roster you have on YouTube? We can see the roster of the person who submitted this trade. Let's throw the next one on the board. This comes in from Moneyball. As this one loads up, we'll check out some of the chat questions. Like Scuba Steve, guess what I just played? I'm guessing it's Marathon. We've been playing Marathon and talking about it. I'm guessing it's that, or it's Kickball. Evan on TikTok says, trade proposal, 30 beers for a high five from my big dog. Ooh, we'll go with a one beer. A one beer. Dr. Mays, welcome in on the Twitch chat. Welcome in, guys. Ian K, I also already have 6. Ian, I feel like Ian came in, typed his question in the YouTube chat. Quick one, my guy. Sorry for not being in queue, just having these negotiations finalizing right now. I got to tell you, you can apologize for not being in the queue, but we're not going to take any question that is not from the trade queue. Moneyball, this trade comes in 12-team Superflex, start 9 PPR. Where are we going on this one? Cam Ward or Kyron Williams? I feel like if we put a poll in the chat, it's going to be pretty even here. Brandon Tichon with the sub on YouTube at the same time. Thank you very much. I feel like if we took this one and put it into a poll, it's going to be really pretty even. If we look at the roster of the team here, would you rather have Cam Ward, who's the 4th quarterback, or flip him for Kyron Williams? I think that's pretty even. Dr. Mays on YouTube saying you would rather have Cam Ward. Ian K, got it. I'll make him wait and get in line. Sure. I think with this trade, we're not that far outside of the range of what we think Cam Ward can be and what we think Kyron Williams can be. The team has Travis Etienne and Bashal Tootin as the only running backs, and then Chuba Hubbard behind that. Kenneth Gainwell as an option behind that. Not a ton. So if we're looking to move someone for a running back, it's possible you get a little bit more than Kyron Williams, but I don't think this is outside the range of like fair value on a trade. I know a lot of people think that Cam Ward's going to have a big breakout this year, but what does he break out to if he's not going to run? Unless he gets up to Joe Burrow levels of passing, he's going to be a Brock Purdy type. He's going to be a Jordan Love type, a solid QB1 to QB2. QB 10 to 18 on any given year. I think Cam Ward was QB 22 last year. And if he takes a big leap forward, he's QB 16 and he's the 4th quarterback on this team. One thing I would do is in a situation like this, if you're worried about not getting enough, like, hey, put it out there. I'm looking to send Cam Ward for 1 running back and have that in your league chat and give people an opportunity to say, they're interested at all. They don't need to send you a trade request. They just need to like what I'll usually do in my leagues is say, hey, I wanted to make a move like this. I don't need you to send me a trade request. I just need you to like this message and I'll come do the trade request for you. I'll come look at it and do all the thinking. And then you can respond and see how you feel about it. If you're worried about it, I would look and do that. Otherwise, I think it's a fine deal. I think there's going to be people who like Cam Ward, and I think there's going to be people who prefer Kyron Williams on this one. I think we're good to swap them. Let's go to the next trade. The next trade. Let's go to the next trade. That's a song I just wrote for that trade. Here we go. Carlitos. Carlitos has a trade. It might be Carlito, one singular Carlito. Here's the trade in a 10-team Superflex, 6-point passing touchdown, start 10, PPR, half-point tight end premium. Are we doing Malik Willis and Jalen Coker for Jalen Waddle? I feel like I spent a lot of time reading this one, reading all the stats for this one, and the answer is pretty easy. May saying with his quarterback room, you might just have to keep Malik here. I don't even know about that. We do, if you're watching on TikTok, we do have the roster of the person who submitted this trade, Carlito. they have Malik Willis as their second quarterback. They would be trading him and Jalen Coker away for Jalen Waddle. I think I'm fine making this deal and bringing in Jalen Waddle. I don't really trust Malik Willis to be the guy for multiple years. I don't know that he's even going to be excellent as a starter. So if I can get away from Malik Willis, who I view as he could just have no value a year from now, and go to Jalen Waddle. Right now it's June. I don't need to worry that my quarterbacks are Patrick Mahomes and Tua after that. I can make a different trade to get a quarterback who's not going to disappear. So we've got questions from Mason with his quarterback room. Is Tua going to start? Doesn't have to. He doesn't have to start. It's that far away. We're that far away from the start of the NFL season that there will be another trade. And I think that's maybe the reason Carlito sent this question in. Like, is it okay to move on from Malik Willis and Jalen Coker? Jalen Coker was a guy that had some value last offseason and hasn't quite hit. Maybe he breaks out this year, but it's very unlikely. And Malik Willis has now moved into a starting role currently for Miami. But there's a good chance he just doesn't have a starting role next year. Miami's pretty terrible. There's not really any receivers to throw the ball to if you're Malik Willis. If I can swap him to Jalen Waddle and then swap Jalen Waddle, you can probably get to a much better quarterback. So I'm taking the Waddle side here, knowing that I can send my QB2 away and then get a quarterback 2 later in the time that it takes, especially with this trade where it's only a 10-team super flex. Like Malik Willis, I feel like he's getting 12-team or a higher value here, and we'll get to the wide receiver and then move a wide receiver for a different guy. Like we have AJ Brown here, we can move AJ Brown for a better quarterback. Lord of the Ram is the next trade. Got questions coming in the chat, like Levi saying, I feel like Ward has way better offensive scheme and supporting cast this year. He's going to eat. He'll probably be better than last year. We were talking about him a little bit ago. But realistically, with the market at quarterbacks, it's not going to matter that much. It's very likely that he is better this year and that it just doesn't matter that much. Elias in the TikTok chat. What about 12-team Superflex St. Brown for Luther Burden and Tyler Shuck? It's right here. Submit your trades on our site, Elias. That is the only way that we go through trade questions. Kanoa, are we doing team reviews tonight? I'm going to clear it with the wife. I think we're going to do three days next week. My thought right now is that we're going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The trade queue has been building up on Monday. We'll hit a bunch of trades on Monday. And then we'll do a team review Tuesday as the final testing. And then Wednesday, go back to a mix thing. And then team reviews will be launched and covered on every single show after that. That's my current thought. With that, let's hit this next trade. Got Lord of the Ram, the Coliseum League. It's a 12-team, 1 quarterback, start 8 PPR league. Let's take a look at it. Are we sending Rashee Rice and Josh Jacobs for a 27 first and second? The question comes in from Lord of the Ram, who does not have Rashee Rice, does not have Josh Jacobs. They have 2 27 firsts, 3 27 seconds. Am I sending 1 27 first for Rashee Rice? Yeah. With this team? No, maybe. Actually, yeah. As I'm reading the team more, you can see the team right here on Twitch and on YouTube. If you're on TikTok, we just don't have enough screen space to show this entire roster, but it's looking okay at quarterback. We've got 2 iffy quarterbacks, Kyler and Malik Willis, and then Matt Stafford there coming off of an MVP season. Like, we have enough quarterbacks to compete. We have enough running backs to compete. We have enough wide receivers to compete. So, yeah, I kind of like this deal. The more I look at the team sending the picks away, we're sending a 27 first and a 27 second. If we don't end up getting things from Josh Jacobs, I think we win enough on the value of Rashee Rice for a first. And then we have upside on both of these guys. So if we're just looking at them player for pick and player for pick, I like the upside for both of them, that I'll take the 2 combined risks for this team that has multiple rounds of firsts and seconds next year as well as the year before. You can check out the picks right here on Twitch and YouTube. They've got multiple picks, multiple extra sets of picks next year in 2027 as well as 2028. I'd shop them around first, see if you can get there's a lot of people. That's probably the extra thing that I'll add here. With the 27 first and second, I'll shop them around. These first round picks are not as valuable in a one quarterback league where most of the value next year is quarterbacks coming in through the draft. We think there's likely 4, 5, 6 quarterbacks going the first round of the NFL draft next year. And if you're in a one quarterback league like this league, that doesn't matter to you as much. So these picks are not as hyped and as valuable in a one quarterback league. So I think I just like the upside of Rice and Josh Jacobs. Check in the league though. I'm in some leagues, no one will move their 27 first. I'm in some leagues, everyone does. Some people think they are incredibly value and there's no shot that they miss. And they want to get the value for them right now. And some leagues, people are doing the opposite. Let's throw the next trade up. This Mash Asset? I'm not sure the exact pronunciation of the name. It's all lowercase. Here it is on the TikTok feed on Twitch and YouTube. It's right there. Not sure how to say the name entirely, but here we go. It's an 8-team Superflex, 9 starters, PPR. The league is called Dynasty League. Creative. Here's the trade. Chris Olave, Harold Fannin, Marshawn Lloyd, or Tucker Kraft, George Pickens, and a 27th third. Which side of this do we want to be on? This, I guess this feels like a why do it trade. This feels like you're just kind of calling your shot here. Maybe because if we start crossing guys off, Chris Olave for George Pickens, they're both rated right next to each other. We don't know their long-term status unless I'm blanking. Did Olave recently sign a contract? I would need to check that. When a player's waiting to sign their contract, sometimes I dream about fantasy and let's check. Let's make sure that I don't get it wrong. Chris Olave is currently playing on the final year of his 4-year rookie contract. Olave about to sign, not yet, from Dusty. That's kind of what I had thought. So what we can say is that it's a similar situation. Olave now is in a 2-receiver set with New Orleans. George Pickens in a 2-receiver set with Dallas, playing on the franchise tag. I think value-wise, they're very similar. Tucker Kraft versus Harold Fannin. Tucker Kraft coming off an injury. Harold Fannin going into his second year where he was great. Very similar in value. We're swapping a receiver for a receiver, a tight end for a tight end that are both kind of line up similarly in value. And then do you want Marshawn Lloyd for a 27th third? I guess I'll take the upside of Marshawn Lloyd. Cody Montana, Olave, bad history with concussions. That's true. He wouldn't be the first player to have a bad history with concussions that just goes on to have a long career. Devontae Adams had a long set of concussions and is playing into his 30s and is a star. It wouldn't be the first time that's happened. So if you want to get away from Olave from his concussions, fine. I like both sides of this deal. I'm going to call it even. This is one of those where I look at it and I say, like, why would I do this on either side? I don't really get a better receiver. I don't really get a better tight end. And I guess I like a 3rd-round pick around the same as Marshawn Lloyd, with the shot that Lloyd becomes the starter. So I guess a teeny tiny edge to Marshawn Lloyd, but I don't feel strongly on either side of this deal. I don't know that you're really swapping up positions or getting better value or age. So I'm not feeling that strongly in either side of that one. We'll just call it fair. And that is one where if it came in my inbox, I don't know why I would do it on either side. I usually like to accomplish something more. Let's go to the next trade in the league. Texans, Packers, Super Bowl from ESLAT 7. ESLAT 7. Let's take a look. They say they have 4 firsts for next year already. I feel like my team is in a solid spot. It's not like I need Lawrence, but I feel like it would be a nice upgrade. I'm not sure where to go after making so many moves this past season. Let's take a look at the deal. It's Tyler Shuck in a 27 first in a 12-team Superflex start 9, PPR half-point tight end premium for Trevor Lawrence and a 27 third. Yeah, I'm seeing 4 future firsts. Am I moving Tyler Shuck in a first for Trevor Lawrence? I could. I feel like I don't know for sure that we're going to get big time value from Trevor Lawrence. I have Trevor Lawrence as a sell high in this offseason. I feel like we're buying at the height of his value. It's unlikely that he goes that much higher this year unless he starts running more. So I feel like we're paying kind of the full price for Trevor Lawrence, but I also don't hate this trade. I don't know. I mean, check in your league. What's the value of Tyler Shuck in your league? I don't know that I'm feeling that high on Tyler Shuck this year. Like right here in chat, Dusty Demai saying Shuck is going to rise in value. Don't sell him too early. I don't know that he is. I don't know that he's going to, not that he's not going to rise in value, but if he maintains his production, he might get you the same production this year. I don't know that he's going to go up in value. He's an older prospect. If he has a good year this year, what's a good year for Tyler Shuck? He gets to the ceiling of Brock Purdy. Maybe he goes up a little bit in value, but there's not a massive ceiling here. And there is real downside. Tyler Shuck has played a small sample size. He's not that highly thought of as a prospect. And if he looks really bad in 2026, the Saints aren't that connected to him. He'll be through 2 years of a 4-year rookie deal as a second round pick. They could easily just draft someone in a deep quarterback class and move on if it doesn't work out. So I think we do have to consider in the real downside for someone like Tyler Shuck. Like, how excited do we feel right now about Michael Penix? That downside is realistic for Shuck. So if we want to get rid of that level of downside, Trevor Lawrence is that. I don't know that the ceiling is overly high for either one of these guys. Trevor Lawrence coming off of, I think he was QB 4 or 5 this year. That's the highest that we're probably going to see from him. Unless he has a massive breakout and gets to 40 something touchdowns and runs a little bit more, 40 something passing touchdowns. But I don't know that I want to predict that. With this deal, the way I'm viewing it is we have a ton of first round picks. We could take this 27 first, unless we have someone in our league that's really high on Shuck and we can pair Shuck with something else to up tier at quarterback and keep the first. Like if there's someone in our league who would give us a better quarterback for Shuck and a 27 second, or Shuck and I mean, even with some of the players on the roster here, if you're watching on TikTok, we can see the rosters on Twitch and YouTube. If we paired Shuck with Ken Walker and came away with a better running back or came away with a better quarterback there, and then used a lot of these first round picks that we have to replace Ken Walker at running back, I like deals like that more than this. But I also don't hate this deal of taking Trevor Lawrence. If I had the Trevor Lawrence side, I would stay with the Trevor Lawrence side, and that's why I'm going to click that one as the winner on the site. And I'll leave that as my last thought. If I have the Trevor Lawrence side, I'm not bringing in Tyler Shuck. I would look at other options for Tyler Shuck where I'm not moving a 27 first because I don't particularly love Trevor Lawrence. On to the next one. Let's make sure we're not missing too many things from the chat. Cam DeSilva, are we doing team reviews tonight? We mentioned it a couple minutes before you joined in. I think we're going to throw in a third show next week and do a final team review test on Tuesday. And then we will just turn things on as launched and go on with that. So I don't think we're going to get to any tonight. We have 11 trades in the queue. We'll get through some of these trades and then we'll pivot over and kind of reset the site once we hit a full launch within the next 1 week. And then we will be doing team reviews on every show going forward. But that is mostly for transparency because team reviews are meant to be a paid product, and they will be. So I'm not going to jump at the opportunity to do 15 of them live for free because they're going to swap to a paid product very soon. We got Jay Buskey there, trade coming up on the site. Should be updating here on your screens. I see it on both of them. It's updating on my screen. Jay Buskey in the Elite Ball Players League. Not ball knowers, just ball players. It's a 12-team Superflex start 10, full PPR, no tight end premium. We don't have any tight ends in this deal. How are we feeling here? Drake London and Jordan Addison on one side, the veterans. On the other side, Mekhi Lemon and a 28 mid first. I think I'm sticking with Drake London. I'm sticking with Drake London. Sticking with the upside of Drake London. Do I have that right? Drake London did just sign his extension. Drake London signed a multi-year extension, $141 million. We're expecting one for Olave. That's the last extension that we were talking about. Drake London did sign his extension. I think I'm sticking with London. I like Jordan Addison as a buy low right now. The person sending in this deal has Mekhi Lemon and the 28 first. This feels like we're cashing out on Lemon off of the hype surrounding an AJ Brown trade that we expected to have happen. So I think we are kind of breaking a threshold here where I don't think I don't think very many people are sending a 28 first for Jordan Addison right now. I have Jordan Addison as a buy low because I think he can perform and go back up in value to being worth a 28 or a 29 first after this season. So I like acquiring Jordan Addison. I like acquiring him lower here where I'm not sending away a first round pick, but I think that's kind of what we're doing here because the value of Drake London over Mekhi Lemon is just so much higher. So I'm going to go with the London side here, even though I don't love moving the first. I think it's the London's just the better player that we know for sure right now. Mekhi Lemon as a rookie could swap, but I think basically everyone, especially right now in June when we're considering value on trades, you're getting way more with Drake London. Next trade comes to us in Dad Bods Are Us from J Mitch. It's a 10-team, one quarterback, start 9. We're starting 90 players, half-point tight end premium. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Are we sending Jamar Chase for Justin Jefferson and Christian McCaffrey? Are we sending Jamar Chase for Justin Jefferson and Christian McCaffrey? Which side of this deal is J Mitch on? He has Jamar Chase. Does his team need Christian McCaffrey to contend? You can see the team right here on Twitch and YouTube. If you swap over there, we just can't fit it on TikTok. But I don't think this team needs more players to contend. We've got quarterbacks, Dart and Shuck. It's possible they both regress in year 2 and take a step back. But we're set at running backs. We have Cook, Hampton, Breece Hall, Trevion Henderson. So we don't need to make a deal to down tier to bring in a running back. Hampton, Cook, Hall, Henderson, all pretty solid. Behind that, Aaron Jones, who will have a role and probably fills in at a flex. This is a shallower league. So someone like Jamar Chase holding value this year might be able to get you more. The team has Chase, Lamb, Rashee Rice, Lemon, Godwin. We're okay. I don't know that I feel like we're getting some of the stuff that I want if I'm going to down tier off of a stud piece. So I did in a video recently of sell highs, I did say like, I'm open to selling Jamar Chase. This is the last time you can get a massive deal for Jamar Chase. But when I'm getting massive deals, like Ryan Keller saying Jefferson and a 27 first for Chase, I like that more than Jefferson and Christian McCaffrey for Chase. Because when I move on from a top 5 startup pick, and that's what Jamar Chase is right now. If you're starting a Dynasty League, he's probably getting taken in the top 5 picks. And this is likely the last offseason that it is that way. I want another shot at a top 5 guy. And we're not getting it with Justin Jefferson and Christian McCaffrey here. So I would hold and see if you could get a different deal that gives you more of that upside. Looks like that's kind of where my gut is leaning on this one, especially because it's only 10 teams start 9. where the top tier guys hold more value. That's what's going to push me over the edge to say, I'm just going to stick with Chase here. I like the bounce back for Justin Jefferson, but if I'm moving Jamar Chase, some of the opportunity cost of getting a better deal with a younger asset in there kind of has me sticking with the Chase side. Let's clear this out and take a look. Oh, what did we just get? A follow on Twitch from Paco? I think that's what that was. Yes, it was. Paco with the Twitch follow. Thank you very much. That just lit up on my screen. Anything happened in the chat? Bradman Jones says London Bridge. I'm not sure if you guys are talking trades in. Evan says, how much do I have to pay to skip the line and play Higher by Creed? I don't think I have music set up to play right now. Bray Stiv saying Drake just got a big deal. I think we covered that. Evan saying you're taking Amon-Ra all day. Looks like you guys are talking about some trades in the chat. And then this other one that I saw that I wanted to call out. Jack needs a lava lamp. I've thought of it. This lamp here does have motion. Oh, here's a coffee pot. The lamp in the background does have modes that can do motion. I don't have them on because I edit out a lot of breaks in thought in the long form YouTube videos. If I sit and think for a minute and then come back and talk like that, I'll usually cut out that silence. And I don't want that many things in the background moving between cuts. He definitely would try to eat it. I don't know that I would try to eat the lava lamp. I don't know that I would try to eat the lava lamp. Let's go to the next trade. That boy think it's space soup. Eat the coffee pot and that boy think it's space soup. I did just move the coffee pot. Let's go with the next deal. Last Airbender 1997 in Garner League. It's a 10-team, 1 quarterback start 8. Are we sending Jeremiah Love for T. Higgins and Ken Walker? I think I'm staying with Jeremiah Love. We're going to throw this one to the chat. I'm staying with Jeremiah Love. It's a 10-team start 8, so we're only starting 80 players on the week. So guys like, as we get further down, guys that are wide receiver 2s and 3s that aren't really getting started in any given week just don't have as much value. They don't have as much value because they aren't scoring you more than players that are they become replacement level. All that value that gets lost gets pushed up. So I'm going to go with the Jeremiah Love side here. T. Higgins and Ken Walker, both good pieces. But you in leagues like this, where you aren't starting as many, you want these higher tier guys more than you would in a deeper league where you have to fill out a number of starter slots. So I'm sticking with Jeremiah Love. We got Dewey saying sports. Have a good stream. Thank you, Dewey. Thanks for popping in, Dewey. We will see you, Dewey, tomorrow when we are gaming again. For the folks on TikTok, for the folks watching on Twitch, we do play games during the day. On TikTok, we have that separated as a different page, Boom Bust Gaming. We use the same Twitch page. There's also a separate YouTube page for checking that out, but we do keep it separated. I'm going with Jeremiah Love on this one. Will Tyler Forrest Fisher, how much am I worried about Leak and the ACL? Who is Leak? I don't know all the nicknames. Leek. Oh, Malik Neighbors? Ronald Dios? For Dynasty, not much. Do people call Malik Neighbors Leek? I'm just going to type leek. It's a type of vegetable. Well, this has not been helpful. This has not been helpful. Where is this? Here he is. Here he is. Am I worried about his ACL? He calls himself that? You know, I can get behind that. I don't know the man, but I can. Evan says no one calls him that. I can get behind that energy. I call myself the dolphin. No one else does. I call myself that. How do I feel about his, how do I feel about Malik Neighbors' ACL? For playing Dynasty, I don't worry about it. Maybe there's lower production this year, but he's what, like 16 years old? He's going to be playing for a long time. He's shown that he can play at an incredibly high level. I'm not super worried about it. Ooh, let me check on that. Ronald Dios. He has a chain with a leek pendant, like the letters L-E-E-K. Or is part of this thing with Malik Neighbors the vegetable? Is it vegetable related at all? Or does he just like that name? Let me know on that one. Let's get the next trade thrown up here. Coming in from Rob MC. This trade came in 7 hours ago. We're almost into the trades that have come through since the start of the show. Here we go. Rob MC, 12-man Dynasty Superflex Tight End Premium is the name of the league. And the scoring is also that. You can check it out on your screen on TikTok. It's down here. On Twitch, it's not down here. It's over here. Rob MC. Here we go. Tyler Warren and Nico Collins, or Colston Loveland and Chase Brown. My running back room is very thin. Thought I might need to upgrade. Let's take a look at the running back room because I already have thoughts on this trade. Do we need to upgrade at running back? We've got... I almost don't want to say it on the TikTok feed because I'll say the running backs on the team for the folks watching on TikTok. We do like the folks watching on TikTok. Other platforms help a bit. Are we doing... We have Cam Scatabo, RJ Harvey at running back, Blake Corum behind that, Chris Rodriguez. I'll say with this team, you have enough running backs. You don't have a great running back room, but you have enough. You have enough. Scatabo, Harvey, Corum, Rodriguez for flex roles. If you have a great team around this crew of running backs, you can contend. How do I feel about the deal as it is? I don't see, if we take the tight ends here, there is a tight end premium, and I think a lot of people prefer Colston Loveland to Tyler Warren. If you look at the first half of the year, it's Tyler Warren by a lot of last year. If you look at the second half of last year, it's Colston Loveland by a lot. That does overlap with when Daniel Jones was gone, playing through a broken leg and then out of the lineup. If we're looking in Dynasty, I like both of these guys. So am I going to go from Nico Collins to Chase Brown? Maybe that value's not horrible. Maybe the value's not terrible. Would I just do 1-for-1 Nico Collins for Chase Brown? I guess. For the position swap, I don't know that that's crazy. Like if I pull up Dynasty Data Lab ADP, how far off are these guys? Chase Brown in, what is this, the 4th round, and Nico Collins, he seems like a 4th rounder. They're going in the same round. And Tyler Warren, how far behind Colston Loveland is he? This is fine. I think you're going from... You lose a round of value between Colston Loveland to Tyler Warren in just current market value. I don't know that Tyler Warren is going to underproduce compared to Colston Loveland. So I would say that. Like I think you could get you know what? I like it. What am I doing? I'll send Tyler Warren and Nico Collins for Loveland and Chase Brown. I don't know why it took me so long to get there. Yeah, I will. I'll do that. I think my brain just kind of processed the trade wrong. And once I finally saw it the right way, yeah, I'm taking Colston Loveland and Chase Brown. Drew Bellion says the website is down for you. Uh-oh. Okay, I mean, we'll take a look at it after the show. We've got it up and running. The website is how we produce the show. So it's something I'll have to take a look at afterwards. We got the next trade coming up. Ronald Dios, Ronald Diaz, you know I can't. We take Ronald Diaz with a trade in the Twitch chat. We take all of our questions through the website. Through the site. Let's do this next trade from Rob MC. This one came in earlier today, and then we've got a queue of them on Twitch and YouTube going across the top of the screen there. If you're on TikTok, you can see your spot in the queue on Twitch and on YouTube. Evan says website is working for him. I don't know that we're going to need to do a long back and forth of is the website working. Speaking of, for people who want to get their trade cover, let's just do that. Let's do a moment to jump. Well, I mean, we're doing the show live here, covering trades for free because we're trying to test out that the website is working for everyone and covering all situations. Let's show people how to get your trades added into the queue. I'm setting up the demo right now. We'll swap over to it. Here's our website, boombustfantasy.com. If you want to get your trade into the queue, Ronald Diaz, here it is. It's the same name as we are on Twitch. It's the same name as we are on TikTok and YouTube with a .com at the end, like most websites, unless it's .gov. Those bastards. What you can do is click Get Started. Here's how easy it is to make your account. It's one click and you type in your sleeper name. My Google Chrome has my Gmail logged in. I can click Continue with Google and my account is made. The only thing you need to do is type in your sleeper username. Here's my name from the Sleeper app, and it goes and pulls as quickly as it just did. It just live pulled every league I'm in. This isn't just a setup demo. It went to their API. It pulled every single league that I'm in right now. And all you need to do is say, which team do you want to look at from your league first? Which league do you want to look at first? That's all we're doing here. So we'll set a league that I'm in right here. It's called Big Dogs, Bigger Hogs. And here we have the step to connect Discord, where you can post your trade questions to Discord with your league settings attached and a link to your league. For the demo, we skip it. If you want to get your trade in the queue, you go to Trade Advice and type in the players from your league. If you hit Request Expert Review, it says with a little note here, trades are reviewed live every Monday and Wednesday night at 7:30. That's this. That's this. You check this box and you hit submit for expert review and your trade gets added into the queue and it'll show up across the top of the screen on Twitch and on YouTube where we have the live queue showing. Let's jump over to the next trade. I think we looked at this one. Oh, it's another trade from Rob MC and Football Cartel. We did not look at this one. It's Trey McBride for Tyler Warren, a 27 first and a 27 second. Am I doing this? The note that we have from Rob says the team looks good but aging. Is it worth down tiering to add a couple picks? No, there's a full point tight end premium on this league, and they have Brock Bowers and Trey McBride. They have Eli Stowers. They have no 27 firsts so far. So are we sending Trey McBride to go to Tyler Warren to pick up an extra first and second? The first thing I think is, can we add something to Trey McBride to get that second round pick up to a first? Can we add Antonio Williams from this team, the roster that we see right here? Can we just add on Trey McBride and Antonio Williams to get to Tyler Warren in 2 first or something along that line? What do we have to add to bump that extra second round pick that we'd be bringing in to get to a first? That's what I would look at on this deal. And I'd say, hang on. It's a full point tight end premium. These guys are incredibly valuable. I know you're just down tiering to another tight end, but Trey McBride is coming off of a massive season. And even if we think things are going to change going into next season, get paid on the season that just happened. I would try to add something to that other side before I would try to add something with Trey McBride to get a little bit more on the other side rather than just a second round pick, try to get up to a 28 first. Greasy K, you getting a 500 error. Is that on mobile? The lingering 500 errors that I've been seeing are from people on mobile. Let's jump to the next trade. You're on PC and you're seeing them. Have you done, if you do Control-Shift-R on PC, it should clear the cache, and that has helped for people. Any 500 error like that, Greasy K, that you're getting is typically some lingering things cached in your browser that it then goes to look for and can't find in the code. Oh, Greasy K is on mobile. Dusty's on PC. On PC, you can do Control-Shift-R to reset the cache. On mobile, it's more complex in your specific phone's settings. Here we go. Count. In League One Dynasty, it's a 10-team Superflex. Start 9 PPR. Where are we going on this one? Jordan Addison and Jaden Higgins or Parker Washington in a 27-second. I'm going for Addison and Higgins. I know some people like Parker Washington after what he did with the Jags last offseason, but with Brian Thomas coming back healthy, Travis Hunter coming back healthy, they re-signed Jacoby Myers. I don't know what's going to happen with Parker Washington. I don't like the odds of him being great. I think we have better odds with Jaden Higgins and Jordan Addison. So I would move. If we just break this down and say, I would rather have Addison than a 27-second by a bunch, and I'd rather have Jaden Higgins than Parker Washington by a bunch, I'm going with Jordan Addison and Jaden Higgins. Especially in the 10-team start 9. You can check the settings on TikTok. For only starting 90 guys, I feel more comfortable that Jordan Addison is going to be a weekly contributor for me than I do with Parker Washington or a 27-second. Because we've seen him do it. He's been a QB or a wide receiver 2 in 12-team scoring. He's finished it between 20 and 24 his first 2 years when he had pretty bad quarterbacks. Last year, he just happened to have the worst quarterback in a long time with J.J. McCarthy. I think a lot of people, continuing on Jordan Addison, look at J.J. McCarthy and say, he was a first-round pick. He can't have been that bad. He was god-awful. The quarterbacks that Jordan Addison was performing with were also bad. It was like Nick Mullins, players of that tier, Josh Dobbs, the quarterback with alopecia, the alopecia astronaut. These are not special guys that were putting Jordan Addison up there. It was nobody's bad quarterbacks. Ooh, Greasy K, small dono for the Jordans that just dropped. What happened, Greasy K? Also, there's no sound effect when that comes through, but I'm seeing small dono. I don't have on my screen. Do I see $2 super chat is what it is. I thought it was something like that. Thank you very much. We do appreciate super chats, Greasy K. What Jordans just dropped? Well, you let me know, and maybe we'll pull that up near the end. Let's hit the next trade, because we do like, if you're on the TikTok feed, you can't see behind me fully, but right here, we do have some Jordans on display on the widescreen views. Sometimes we tell people that there's boobs off to the side, even though there's not. It's Jordans and a lamp. On the next trade, Ben White, 15. 12-team, 1 quarterback, start 8 each week. Here's the trade. Roma Dunze for Keelan Black, a 27-second and a 29 first. And Scoob, I see the message you just sent. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate it. How are we feeling on this deal? The notes say I would get the Rome side. I'm very high on Rome, but I'm not sure if I'm giving up too much. Looking at the draft picks of this team, Dale Construction Worker is the name of the team. You can check out the roster here. I'll put my hand so that it shows up on the TikTok feed and then point it to where it is on Twitch and YouTube. We have the full roster here. This team doesn't have any future first-round picks. So with the trade here, like, we have picks in the future. We have 3/4 next year, a second and a third, 2/3 in 2028 and 2/4, and then 129 first and all of your own picks in 2029. In a 12-team, 1 quarterback. Man, I don't know that I'm sending a 29 first for Roma Dunze here. I think the value or the price for Rome is in this range. It's in this range. Texas Tejano, welcome back. Welcome back, Texas Tejano, with the chilies on TikTok. Thank you very much. Texas Tejano with us most days during the fantasy football season. With this trade, as I keep looking at the team, I want to say the value is not too much for Roma Dunze. I don't know that I want him for this team. I'm going through a couple layers of thoughts here. My thoughts have layers. They're like an ogre. Do I want to send the 29 first, a 27 second, and Keelan Black for Roma Dunze? Kind of. If I'm viewing it as a rebuilding trade. Like, I don't know that I'm going to get much for Keelan Black or a 27 second. It's not my own. We'd be moving on from my own 29 first, but the team as it is right now, it's looking kind of patchwork. Like, we need great players on this roster, and right now the starting running backs are Jonathan Brooks and J.K. Dobbins. There's good upside with Jonathan Brooks, but if that's your running backs, you need better receivers than Rashee Rice as your second receiver, Michael Wilson as your third, Jaden Higgins as your fourth, Jack Besh down there. Like, we don't have anything here. We don't have tight ends. We have Chiga Okonkwo, Noah Gray. There's not really a team here. So if we're doing this trade, I think we're just doing it as a rebuilding deal where we're starting to send some of this future stuff to get a better player. Like, Roma Dunze is probably a better player than the package. But then I just want to move on from Roma Dunze or pair Roma Dunze with some of these other options and clean up other value. Do more. What I like in this deal is really just that we're moving Keelan Black in a second and we're coming away with good stuff, getting Roma Dunze. And then I want to take, and we're using a 29 first to do it. And then I want to make another deal with Roma Dunze where instead of sending a 29 first, I'm sending Roma Dunze and some junk, and I'm getting 2 firsts back, something like that. Because there's just not a team here to compete with. Unless I've got this team completely wrong and it won the league. The team is on the screen. I don't know that I'm feeling that great about it. So, I mean, I feel like you're giving up close to too much, but we're also getting the best piece that we can then use to further rebuild. Not by using Rome or hoping that he shoots up in value, but just by attaching more stuff to Rome that's kind of junky and coming away with things that are no longer junky. Okay, the Jordans that we were talking about, Greasy K, the 2026 Air Jordan OG True Blues. Ooh, I'm already waiting. I've seen them already. Yeah, they are coming in July. The Jordan 3 True Blues, they're on the list. There was a set of Jordan 3s that just came out, the World's Best Dads. I thought about getting those. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get both pairs. So if I'm just getting one, I might go with the OG True Blues. They're on my list of ones to grab, Greasy K. They're on my list. We actually pulled them up earlier on the gaming stream. We pulled up a bunch of Jordans where there's the Sunset 5s coming out, and I think I got to pass on those because we got the grapes back here. But yeah, I've seen them. I'm excited. Let's take a look at Ian K. He's been waiting. Posted it earlier on the show. Ian K in the Dynasty League. Here it is. The league my trade was submitted for is incorrect. The trade would be in a startup I'm currently in where I own. Okay, Ian, do you want to put it in the, do you want to submit it with the other league? We'll look at this as it goes. The notes say you already own 627 first, so adding another is enticing. Let's take a look at the deal. Jaden Daniels, Quentin Johnston. I'm going to talk about it with the settings that are shown here because I don't know the settings. Jaden Daniels, Quentin Johnston, Xavier Worthy. How are we feeling on this? We're sending those guys for Justin Herbert, Jalen McMillan, a first and a second. It's probably... Yeah, going from Jaden Daniels to Herbert and a first is around right. That's about right. And then the other pieces aren't crazy. Quentin Johnston and Xavier Worthy for Jalen McMillan and a second. It's probably saying that the first with Justin Herbert is a bit of an overpay, but then you get it back. And I think it might be. On this deal, yeah, Ian, we're not going to take scoring settings in the chat. If you want to submit it with the league as it is, go for it. Otherwise, we're going to talk about it as it's submitted. How are we feeling on this one? why do we need another 27 first if we already have 6? I don't know how far away this team is from how this team looks with, like, the deal is about fair. The reason that we have all the trades go through the site is that so that we can look at a team that has 6 27 firsts. Does it need 6? Should it be sending some of those away right now for pieces to contend right now? The best advice that we can give involves the team that you have. So I'm not even going to click on the rosters if you say that the roster isn't submitted here. I don't know, like, it would be cool to get all of the first round picks in 2027, but is it league winning? Is it the best thing for your team? Well, I can't see the team, so I don't know who else is on the roster. Like, at some point, the way that we do rebuilds is we acquire a lot of first round picks. You build out with value. You build out to multiple picks or players that can be converted for picks in the current year, the next year, and so on. And then once you have enough, you build up. You start combining those picks for players to get guys now. If I'm coming out of a rebuild, I'm probably going to be taking future value picks and trading for players going into the season that I'm looking to contend. So without seeing the roster, I can't tell if is 6 27 firsts enough to start trading for value to get players to contend this year. I don't know. Let's go to the next one. We got Evans trade, funny 91-10. I am in this league. I don't know if I have Ashton Genty. Do I? Is this just a trade submission to me? It might be. Do I have Genty? Where am I on here? I do. I will say, Evan is in here saying, I do have Ashton Genty. With this trade, I'm just going to look at it and talk about it as though I'm not involved in this trade. In a 12-team Superflex start 10, would I move George Pickens for Isaiah Likely? Absolutely, I would. I would move Pickens for Likely. Leftover, I do read the comments. I would move George Pickens for Isaiah Likely. Now, I am in this deal. I am the Genty owner for this team. I'm not moving Genty for this. I don't know that very many people should move Genty for Pickens and Isaiah Likely. The league does have a tight end premium. I don't strongly believe that Isaiah Likely is the next great tight end. It's possible he is. I don't know how long George Pickens is going to be on the Cowboys. We've seen him have problems with other teams. The Steelers decided to ship him away. Maybe after seeing what the Cowboys were able to do with George Pickens, they decide to another team decides to bring him in after his year on the franchise tag. Maybe the Cowboys re-sign him. I'm not sure. I'm sticking with the Genty side here. As the Genty manager in this trade, I'm sticking with him. For Evans' team, if we're trying to move Pickens for a running back, let's just take a look at, have you done just straight value swaps? In the chat, you do have Genty. Yes. Coward. A coward. I just don't want to do this deal. Ooh, TikTok thinks I'm not here. We'll set that so that the live show doesn't end. It's the Genty side on this deal. Let's go to Paco Zero. And we're getting near the end of the trade queue. We got Paco Zero on the trade in the Dynasty League. Trade is on your screen. Luther Burden and Tyler Shuck on one side. Amon-Ra St. Brown on the other. It's a 12-team super flex, 6 point per passing touchdown. So that is going to make up a little bit for Tyler Shuck not running at all. It'll make these pocket passer guys shift up a little bit. Not a ton. Are we sending Luther Burden and Tyler Shuck for Amon-Ra St. Brown? Yeah, absolutely. We'll look at the roster and see how it fits. Oh, wait, no. This team has Amon-Ra St. Brown. No, we're staying with Amon-Ra. This is a deal where we'll look at the team and we'll talk about it. Like looking at this roster, you have Drake May and Tua as the second quarterback. You need a different quarterback. You do need more for Amon-Ra St. Brown. So the thing that I was about to say before pulling up the roster, Paco, was if I'm in a league where I can send Luther Burden and Tyler Shuck away and bring in Amon-Ra St. Brown, what I would have said is, even if Tyler Shuck is my QB2 and I need him, I'm trading him for Amon-Ra St. Brown because I know I can down tier from Amon-Ra to a receiver and get a better quarterback and get a different deal. So even if we need a different first-time chatter from Paco, makes sense. So even if you need a quarterback, I'm probably more likely to, and I'll put it in air quotes and say like overpay for Matt Stafford, or bring in someone else to be the second quarterback, or do some sort of down tier from Drake May, or look for things like that. Kind of get someone on the cheaper end at the end of their career, even for a second quarterback, like just to fill out points in the Superflex, like pay for the last year of Aaron Rodgers and get decent QB2 scoring. What's an overpay for Stafford? I don't know, a future second. You're probably getting him for a couple thirds or adding him in. A player like Stafford, the question just came in from the chat from Z Borman. You're probably doing some sort of down tier and getting Stafford kind of thrown in on a deal. If I'm trading for Stafford, it's probably going to be like 2 to 3 pieces on each side, and you're sending a bunch of guys, and then Stafford just kind of comes back in the deal. So I'd look for things like that. If you're just looking for quarterbacks, we have other pieces that we can down tier from. I'd look at like down tiering from Bijan to like Jeremiah Love and pulling in a quarterback that way. Paco, what do you think Aaron Rodgers is worth? A late second or third? Like a third. Sometimes it's a similar setup where you're kind of just getting him thrown in on other deals. You can also start to piece together quarterbacks and get like Kirk Cousins for a fourth to get you some starts, and then look for other options. I don't know that I'm looking to move from Amon-Ra to Tyler Shuck. Can we move, looking at your team? I mean, what other old aging quarterbacks could we look at? Like, you have Tua, can you just bring in Michael Penix and get the combo there? Thinking of other guys that you could bring in. The second quarterback is, you have Drake May, and then the second quarterback is Tua. We don't need a stud QB2. This team has a lot of stud players: Drake May, Bijan, Amon-Ra, Brock Bowers, Drake London. And then you can have a QB2 that matches your running back and your Chris Baker is saying Tua as like other quarterback ideas. He has Tua. You can check his roster. If you're on TikTok, you can see it on the Twitch and YouTube feeds. We just can't fit it on the screen on TikTok. But when you submit your trade through the site, it does show your roster on the show. No, Chris Baker, you don't have to say my bad. Sorry, Chris Baker. It lets me tell people more of the features of the site. So you could build your quarterback the same way you have your running backs. You have Bijan, great. David Montgomery, okay, and near the end of his career. You could have Drake, great, and an aging veteran who's going to be fine and not a league winner. Some parts of this roster are just role fillers that get you a decent amount of points. So I would take a look at guys like that. Owen Sanders, is the trade queue long? Owen Sanders, you're watching on YouTube. The trade queue is on your screen. It's right here. Here's the number passing. 3 trades in queue. We've been going for over an hour. If you're on YouTube, you can just check the top of the screen. I'm pointing right at it as it goes through. So this is one of those ones that the deal on the screen, the last thing I'll say about it is there's a very good chance if you accepted this deal, someone in the league chat is just going to say, I would have given you more. Scoop says that he was the last one and he thinks he broke the site. I don't know. I mean, we haven't seen any in 30 minutes. It's unlikely that no, another one just came in after you, Scoop. Justin Herbert on this deal from Paco for Brian Thomas and a 27 first. So just looking at other ideas for this, I'm guessing this is the same league. I like this deal better. Sending the 27 first and Brian Thomas to get to Justin Herbert. This is, same league from Paco. This is a spot where we're selling low on Brian Thomas. I like him as a buy low. This is a spot where we're just, people understand the phrases buy low, sell high. This is definitely a sell low on Brian Thomas. And he doesn't have to bounce back to what he was in his rookie year when he was wide receiver 5. Owen Sanders saying the site is down. We've had some people having issues on their phone, Owen Sanders. On desktop, we just got trades through. We've gotten like 20 trades, or how many trades have we gotten through on this show tonight while we were live? 10 to 15? I'm not sure on the exact number, but plenty have gone through. We've had some issues with people with issues on their phone. Can I offer less than a first? You could probably offer less than a first. On this deal, would I move these? Like, yeah. I don't think we're overpaying on this one. Senia saying site down on the desktop too. Well, shoot. I mean, that's the best I can do. I would be the one to fix it, and I'm doing the show right now. So if it's breaking and it's not getting through for people, we'll just call it an end of the night. Greasy K, clear the cache and browsing data, still having 500 errors. Then I'll probably just wrap things up and go fix it. On this one, it seems like we're paying low. We're sending low on Brian Thomas and the 27 first, but that is the market value on these players. This is one where when we talked about the last trade and said, you'll get messages in the chat saying, I would have given you more. I don't know that you would on this one. I don't know that a lot of people are buying low on Brian Thomas. So I'd call this one about even. We had already talked through some other ideas of where to get a quarterback from. Let's go to the next one for Scuba Steve. In a 12-team Superflex start 10 PPR half-point tight end premium, are we sending Daniel Jones in a 27-second for Mekhi Lemon? Scoop, do you have Daniel Jones? You do. For Mekhi Lemon, I would. You have Josh Allen, Malik Willis, Daniel Jones, and like not much at QB2. And I don't know that if we send Daniel Jones and the second, we get Mekhi Lemon, you could probably then flip someone for another quarterback to start for you, or you go with Malik Willis as your QB2 with Josh Allen. Kind of similar idea to what we were just talking about. Like you have a stud quarterback and then a fine QB2. Maybe isn't there for you next year. Daniel Jones kind of feels the same way. You could piece things together with Kirk Cousins and Malik Willis. Hopefully Malik is starting the whole year. Are we sending too much here with Daniel Jones and the 27-second for Mekhi Lemon? I think you end up with more value in a year with Mekhi Lemon. That's my guess. So I'm going to say, yeah, I'd send it. And then if you need to get a second quarterback somewhere else or a third quarterback for the team to feel better about your starters, I would go for that. All right, I do see the messages that are people getting the issues. We'll hit this last trade that's in the queue, and we'll close it out, and I'll go get to work. There's a follow-up from Funny Man, 12-team Superflex, start 10, full point PPR, half-point tight end premium, George Pickens or James Cook. This is where we're getting into interchangeable. I'm going to call this one, this is an even deal. Pickens for Cook? Like, yeah. If you're sending George Pickens, could you get James Cook? Yes. Could you get Ken Walker? Yes. Could you get Omarion Hampton? Omarion Hampton seems a bit high. I'm thinking, can you get like James Cook? All guys in this range, like Cook, Ken Walker. Why am I blanking on his name? Browns running back. Quinshon Judkins in that range with George Pickens. All of those guys are in that 1-for-1 swap range. Where if we're doing 1-for-1 trades, like you do need the person on the other side to agree to it. But if you sent this and it went through, I wouldn't think it was crazy. If you sent it and they said, no thanks, that's also the same range where they just want their team set up the way that it is. So even deal. I don't know that either side's getting a win. We get a lot of those types of things on questions or comments saying, I did this trade for this trade. Who wins? Like no one wins. This one's pretty even. This one's even Steven. That has cleared it out. We're hearing that things aren't quite going through. Well, we did just get another trade that came through. So we have had people saying that things aren't getting through. This one just did from CMG. CMG, I think watching on Twitch, we'll throw this one on the screen. Is the 10-team Superflex start 10? CMG, is this the same league that was 3 quarterbacks? Sanaya says the site's back up. Okay, this is separate. So do we have the right scoring here, CMG? You put in 2. You cleared the cache in at work, CMG. These two are separate. And then we're also seeing on TikTok saying sites back up. Nothing has changed. It's interesting to hear because this, as it works right now, pointing on TikTok and on Twitch, is just a web page. And actually, you guys could view this. I think you can. If you just went to, these are just pages on the website that show up. If you go to, like, right here. We'll see if this still works. Oh, I'm not listed as a reviewer. So the site, these pages won't work for you, but it's just live show command as a route on the page, and it's a green screen. I could probably show this. I'm surprised that we're getting so many reports of issues. We could show this. Like the way that we'll talk about this trade too. The way that this show works, it's just a green screen. It's just a green screen from the website. If you look right here, boombustfantasy.com/live trade. It probably won't work for you if you're not logged in as an admin, but it's just a green screen. The thing that's showing on the Twitch and YouTube feed, and then we have a version that shows on TikTok. It's just this. So the site, it's running this right now. I'm sorry that we're getting reports, so we'll go take a look and figure that out. Like, Owen saying it's back. I'm confused. I believe you, but I don't understand it. But I believe you. So let's talk through some of these as these other ones come through. Maybe it's maybe something was wrong with the internet at the house and you couldn't access the website. It runs out of the house. CMG with this trade. 10-team Superflex start 10. Scatabo and Carnell Tate on one side. Bashal Tootin, Chuba Hubbard, and George Pickens on the other. Oh. So we were just talking about George Pickens for James Cook. I have those as pretty similar ranges, and I think there are plenty of people that would trade George Pickens for the 102 or the 102 for George Pickens. I mean, I'll take a look and see if I can find examples of that. I think people would make deals like that. Pickens for the 102 or Pickens for the 103. I'm searching on my end in the database for that. I'm pretty sure that's pretty close on value. The 102, oh my gosh, someone's getting way more. The 102 sent, the last trade that I see is someone sent the 102. They got George Pickens, a 27 first, and the 310. That seems really high. And it is. So even looking at this one, can we really pick between Tate and Pickens? And then the deal kind of starts looking at, would we rather have Tootin and Chuba Hubbard or Scatabo? I kind of just want Scatabo. I don't think there's a big value winner or loser in this deal. I think we're getting into the last 1 to 2 years of Chuba's value, and we could be that way on Bashal Tootin. It could also be a long career for Bashal Tootin. If I had Pickens, Tootin, and Hubbard, and I was offered this, I would take the Scatabo and Carnell Tate side. That's what I'm gonna go with. Okay, we got one from CMG Sacktown. 10 team Superflex start, 9 full point PPR, half point tight end premium. It's Garrett Wilson and Bucky Irving or the 101. I do see some things in the comments across different chat windows. We do, if you're typing it in chat, we do see it, and I'll look at it right after this trade. Ooh. I think this was pretty even. And I'm probably just going to stick with the 101. Which side of this deal are you on? You have Bucky Irving. You have Garrett Wilson. On this team, you can see it right here. If you're on TikTok and you're not able to see the team, I am just pointing at it on the Twitch and YouTube feeds where we can show more things, just physically larger screens. Would I send Garrett Wilson and Bucky Irving on this team where you have Gibbs, you have Chase Brown, you have receivers, you have Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, CeeDee Lamb, Drake London, and then Garrett Wilson? Yeah, this is a spot where we'll do the consolidation to move up to what we think is a better player in your lineup. Something we talk about a lot in redraft during the season is take your bench players and if you have a good bench player, push that value into your starting lineup. CMG, you finished 5th last year with this team. It's a good team. It seems like a playoff incident. Like you just didn't get over the playoff hump. And the playoffs are kind of a crapshoot. But like the team as you have it here, is this the 3 quarterback team? Because I see a ton of quarterbacks. You have Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, Tyler Shuck. Unless this is one of the teams that you had that was 3 quarterbacks, we want to start pushing bench value into our starting lineup. And this trade does that, and I don't think we're overpaying. So I'm going with Jeremiah Love, the 101 in this year's draft. Because it's very likely that Garrett Wilson could be on your bench and you'd be starting Bucky. And then with this trade, we take a guy that was on the bench and not really starting for us, and we take all of that production and move it into our lineup week over week to hit better records, to have a better chance of winning in the playoffs. That's how I would view this one. For a lot of dynasty teams, I don't always have them consolidating value. Sometimes we need to split value and add more players to get more stuff in the lineup. Move 101. We'll probably move 101 for Genty on this too. That's one where I don't feel that strongly. With the follow-up trade, do we have to move the 101 from Jeremiah Love to Genty? They're kind of the same to me. Okay, tons of trades have come through. So it looks like things are working. Whatever was going on. 1, apologies. 2, looks like it's cleared up. Let's make sure that we're not missing anything in the chats. Talking about clearing caches. The site is back up. Evan took off. TikTok, Packers fan 34, excited to see this man every day in 3 months. We're live every day already, Packers fan. We just been playing games, video games, twitching on a separate TikTok. So that if you don't care about video games and you don't want to see me every day, you don't have to. That's on Boom Bust Gaming. JS Yeti, should I trade the 106 in this year? JS, we're only taking trades through the site. Who's the next year's breakout rookie from mixing it up? Probably Carnell Tate. That's the one that I felt the strongest about. Outside of that, that's the old Tate, Tyson, and Lemon and Jeremiah Love are probably the only ones that I think I'll consistently draft this year. I know a lot of people like Jadarian Price. That's one of those where I'll let someone else make the bet. And if they win on their bet, that's okay. I don't know that it's going to be one that I do a lot, but I also don't know the ADPs yet. So we'll get into July and August and we'll look at what people are actually doing in drafts. And then that's kind of what fantasy is. You're playing the other people more. I like to think of fantasy football more as playing the other people in your league and player values than defining your values and hoping that you're right. Making your ranks and hoping you're right. Not as much as looking at the ranks people are using and then playing within that market and having conversations and making trades. So who's the next breakout rookie or how do I view the next year? We kind of just have to wait for ADP to come to get generated from real drafts. Here's the next Dynasty trade. I think we've got 5 or 6 on the queue. Let me see what I can see. That says 6 trades. So we'll start to close this out. We've been going for about 1 hour and 20. I don't want to go over 2 hours. C Tabaka. I don't know exactly how to say the name, but thank you for sending in the trade. It's a 10-team super flex, 6-point passing touchdown, start 11. PPR, half-point tight end premium. Are we sending Justin Jefferson for Harold Fannin, Jaden Higgins, and a 27 projected late first? I'm not. On this deal, how do I break it down? In a 10-team start 11, you're starting, 110 players each week. So it's pretty deep. In a format like that, I kind of want to get closer to 3 firsts for Justin Jefferson. And here we're getting a 27 projected late, Jaden Higgins, who I would not consider worth a first-round pick, and then Harold Fannin, who I would have as about a first-round pick. So if I want to get closer to 3 and Jaden Higgins isn't doing it for me, this isn't enough for me to move on from Justin Jefferson. I haven't looked at which side of this deal you're on. I think you're on the Fannin side. So would I send those things for Jefferson? Yeah, I would. You have 2 27 first. Neither one are your own. You have one that you think is projected as a late first, and it's not yours. I'm fine making this move. I think this is a move where you're selling Jaden Higgins as though he's hit and has been performing, and we haven't really seen it yet. So if Jaden Higgins is pretty good next year, that's fine because you sold him as though he was pretty good before he did it. So I'm taking Justin Jefferson here. I like the bounce back odds for him with a better quarterback. That's the side I would take. Okay. My page says 5 in the queue. Erickson said to trade on the site. Did you end up talking about it on video or just the site? If you sent one in, Erickson, I do remember. I think it was on Monday. So that will be on YouTube on the live. So on the live tab, I'll just show it. I'll show you. If you've never looked at this, here's where it would be. It should only take me a moment. On any, yeah, here we go. And I press this button. On any YouTube page, it'll have their home, their videos, shorts, and live. So here are all the live shows that we've been doing. Yours was on Monday. I'm pretty sure. I remember seeing your name and saying I'm in a league with Erickson. All right, Rude Dude 02, just a bit offsides is the league. It's a 10-team, 1 quarterback start 8. So this is a shallower league. The values are going to be closer to as if you were playing Dynasty in a redraft, like family league setting. In this deal, are we sending, it's 1 quarterback. Are we sending the 102 DJ Moore and Bashal Tootin for Derrick Henry, the 106 and Lad McConkey? The notes say just won the championship last year, looking to get younger at wide receiver. This team has DJ Moore and the 102. The thing that I would say is you are getting younger at wide receiver. You have the way I would view this trade, like, does this for sure make you younger at wide receiver? The 102 is a wide receiver. We're getting a really good young wide receiver at 102. If you keep the pick, and if you go to the 106, we're not. So you go from the 102 in a 1 quarterback league, like who are we getting at 106? We're not getting Tate, Tyson, Lemon. We're probably going Love, Tate, Tyson, Lemon, Jadarian Price. At 106, we're looking at like Kenyon Sadiq, Casey Concepcion, maybe as the second younger player. Looking at that, I might just stick with, and then we're getting older at running backs. I like the upside of bringing in Derrick Henry. So like that is real, something that I'm looking at on this deal. But we have James Cook, we have Jonathan Taylor, we have Christian McCaffrey. I don't know that I want to go that much older at running back or bringing in another aging one. I like moving on from Tootin. I mean, can we get a deal that's just Tootin and DJ Moore for something for a younger receiver? Tootin and DJ Moore to get Lad McConkey and then keep things the way that they are. Cause I would have a hard time moving on from just drafting Tate here. Look at it again and see if anything else jumps out to me. Anyone in chat, which side are we taking here? Which side are we taking here? It's a 10-team, 1 quarterback, start 8. And the team is pretty good here. If you're on the TikTok feed, it doesn't show the rosters, but on Twitch and YouTube, you can check them out. I think there's other deals you could make, is where I would leave this one. If I'm moving the 102 and Tootin and DJ Moore, who do have some value, not a ton in this setting, in this scoring, 10 teams start 8, it's 80 players started a week. The guys that lose value, it's DJ Moore and Bashal Tootin. But it could also easily be the player that we take at the 106 in a shallower draft that gets even shallower in a 1 quarterback league, and a 10 team start 8, it gets even shallower. I might stick with the 102 and see what else I could do with Tootin and Moore in another deal. Just stay put on that one. Let's take a look, mixing it up. What do I think about Malik Neighbors? Is he worth taking a chance on? Yeah, why not? In a Dynasty league? I think we still have years and years of Malik Neighbors. Senia, you like the DJ Moore side. I think I did too. Spunklebox, you kind of drunk the Tootin Kool-Aid. I'm sticking there for now. I can understand. Zborman, not high on Tootin. I'm not particularly high on Tootin. I don't know. I haven't. Maybe I need to do more. Here's my live thoughts. My gut is telling me there have been multiple situations like Bashal Tootin in the past, and I need to just go through and find them to recall them for shows like this. Zieberman says he's faster than Gibbs. I would take that on the flip. I would take that phrase, Bashal Tootin is faster than Jahmyr Gibbs, and kind of flip what we mean on the value. Like, you don't need to be that fast at running back is kind of what I'm hearing, or speed alone isn't enough. What I should go find for future shows when referencing Bashal Tootin, or fix my opinion on him, is I think I'll be able to come up with multiple situations where a team had a running back that we thought we liked, like Bashal Tootin, and then they just moved on from him in another year. Like, there are plenty of teams that, for example, my Chicago Bears don't have a good defensive line. They didn't draft anyone. It didn't fall that way. They might not like their defensive line, but they didn't find a good way to fix it, and they're just going to roll with it for a year. I'll find other examples of that at running back. That's kind of how Bashal Tootin feels to me. Like, he could be good. They're going to try it out for a year, but I don't know that it means that they're committing long-term to him. So that's my thoughts on him, where I'm not that excited to know that we're going to get multiple years of Bashal Tootin as the guy here. One Up Break started to drink some Jonathan Brooks Kool-Aid. Yeah, he's generally pretty cheap. I had him in a video as a stash play earlier this offseason. Like, he's in the trades that we looked at, it was probably 1 to 2 months ago now. You could check that one out on the page. Like, Jonathan Brooks is still really cheap. And Chuba Hubbard does not have this job on lockdown. Like, Rico Dowdle was playing ahead of Chuba Hubbard last year. And I would say that's another situation that feels like that's probably one of the examples that I would use when talking about Bashal Tootin. Going into the year, we thought it was Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle not really as a threat, and then Dowdle was just the lead guy for some weeks, and then it became a split. We don't know that Bashal Tootin is going to hold off everyone behind him on the Jags, and it could be people that we're not really even that excited about right now. Do I think Brian Thomas Jr. will have a bounce back season mixing it up? Yes. The short version, like, yeah. Does he bounce back to wide receiver 5 overall like he was as a rookie? Unlikely. That would surprise me. But does he bounce back to being a decent wide receiver 2 in fantasy? Yeah. Let's throw the next trade up on the screen. This one comes from It's Colt. Any given Sunday, it's a bigger trade. I'll try to sit up so that my face isn't fully covered. Before we go, well, let's talk about this one. It's a 12-team super flex, 6-point passing touchdown, start 11, full point PPR, full point tight end premium on top. We're running out of space to even keep my face on the TikTok feed. If you're looking for the full roster of the team that submitted this trade, it is on Twitch and YouTube, where we can put more stuff. We can show the full trade. It's right there. On TikTok, that goes off the screen because it's a phone. Here we go. Someone says they're getting the Lamar side, and that Lamar side is Lamar, James Cook, Ray Davis, who we probably won't look at very much in this trade, a 27 fourth, same. And they're sending Drake London, Jared Goff, a first and a third. I think I'm taking the Lamar side. If we start to just knock stuff off, like I like Drake London slightly less than Lamar, but would I send Goff in a first for James Cook? Yeah, by a lot. Colton, you accepted the Lamar side this morning. I think I'm taking the Lamar side. I like Drake London. Let's take a look at your team without Drake London. Do we survive without Drake London? In a start 11, it does start to get a little bit thin. Let me pull through it. I mean, you have some like Isaiah Likely in a full tight end premium. He's probably a flex for you. Juwan Johnson might flex for you some weeks in a full point tight end premium. JSN, Tet McMillan, Josh Downs, Quentin Johnston, Chris Bell. We're starting to get into rougher territory, guys that are probably starting for you. James Cook, Trevion Henderson, though. Chuba Hubbard, Algier, and Jordan Mason or Aaron Jones, whatever that combo there is, probably giving you some starts. And then Lamar and Cam Ward as your quarterbacks. I don't think that's bad. I think the Lamar side's fine. Okay, we're going to have to pick up the pace. We got Jay Shaw in the boys. It's a 10-team, 1 quarterback, start 9. How are we feeling on this one? Brock Purdy versus Baker Mayfield, and the 106 versus a 27 first, projected late. It feels very, very close. So let's look at the nitty gritty of the team. You have Baker Mayfield and the 106. Do we get better? Like, it's a 1 quarterback league at the 106. Yeah, this feels fine. 106, we said we were looking at Concepcion. We were looking at Kenyon Sadiq. Does this team need a tight end? You have Laporta and Likely. I think we're okay to move on from the 106 and just punt that for a future first. I will say on this deal, I don't feel very strongly between Baker Mayfield and Brock Purdy. Baker Mayfield's older, but he generally hits slightly higher touchdown numbers. So it gives you a bit more production than Brock Purdy. And then the 106 for a 27 first. I like the 106 typically a little bit more because you get that player now. This is like, do we have opinions in the chat on this one? I feel like this is one where we're looking at it and saying, there's not a clear winner here. Am I moving Baker Mayfield to just get into that 2027 draft class in a 1 quarterback league where the big value next year is quarterbacks? I'd say that. I don't know that I'm that hyped on the 2027 draft class for 1 quarterback leagues. Deep Pocket Digital says Purdy is better. I think over the past couple of years, they've been about the same. Baker Mayfield, I think, has hit higher highs. And that does matter. But this team also has Jordan Love. Like, Jordan Love is right in the same range as Brock Purdy. It's just kind of which one gets more passing touchdowns. They roughly throw for about the same yards. Which one converts more on passing touchdowns? That's kind of a fluky thing that resets year over year. Like Jordan Love has been quarterback 5 and could just do that again. Brock Purdy could hit those heights again. Or hit those heights. Baker Mayfield could hit those heights again. This feels like, if we do this deal, do we feel like we did anything at all? That's kind of where I would be on this one. Brody, I'm more excited about the Niners offense than the Bucks, especially with the addition of Mike Evans. I don't know that I feel that strongly either way. I'm just going to mark this one as like, if this came through to me and I'm the Baker Mayfield manager, I'd probably just say no. Not because it's a value loss or not a value win. It's just like, it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same on both sides. I don't see a massive difference between the two. So JS Yeti, this is my trade. I'm in need of wide receiver help. Is Casey Concepcion worth it? This one that's on screen is your trade. JS Yeti, are you Jay Shaw? That would make sense. You're in need of wide receiver help, so you're taking Concepcion at 106. There's other options too, like just trade the 106 for like Zay Flowers and get a wide receiver. Trade the 106 for, add to the 106 and trade up, like trade your 106 and a second round pick to get up to a better wide receiver. You can also kind of obfuscate some of the value of that 106 just by adding it in on another deal for up tiers or down tiers. This one doesn't feel like it's hitting either way for me. Let's go to Rude Dudo 2. Keep saying we got to speed up. Can we speed up? 10 team, 1 quarterback, start 8. On one side, we got Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, and the 301. On the other side, we got Kyron Williams, AJ Brown, the 105, Brian Thomas. Okay. 1 quarterback, start 8. CeeDee Lamb's going to be the best piece here. What team are you? Am I moving CeeDee Lamb and Christian McCaffrey? Okay, we had looked at your team earlier. This team is coming back to me. To get Kyron Williams, AJ Brown, 105, and Brian Thomas? I think we were looking at your team and saying it's really solid. Is there a reason to take CeeDee Lamb and spread this value out? Like, we've got the roster showing up here. We would be sending CeeDee Lamb and McCaffrey and the 301. We'd get the 105 in this year's draft. Bring in AJ Brown. So we're not getting a stud receiver here. We're maybe getting like Jadarian Price. Maybe someone in this league takes Price over one of the receivers. But I think we're bringing in guys like maybe the upside of Brian Thomas wins for you. But whoever you take at the 105, are they regularly starting for this team? You would have Jamar Chase, AJ Brown. I think this feels like we're taking stuff and just spreading it out into some bench assets. Am I missing that here? Lamb and McCaffrey would leave this team. McCaffrey would be a every week flex or a starter for you on this team and a start 8. Lamb leaves. We plug in AJ Brown, Kyron Williams into those things, and then just have the 105 and Brian Thomas as like adding value on the team, but not actually adding any production. You get a little bit younger. Unless there's follow-up moves to reconsolidate the value in a 10-team start 8, I think I'm just sticking with the CeeDee Lamb side where the value is already consolidated. Greasy K asks, any way to reset trade credits? Greasy K, are you out of trade credits? Are you out of trade credits on this site? One thing that we are going, here's what I'll say, Greasy K, and for anyone watching, we are getting very close to like the proper launch of the site. We've been doing the show for a while, testing stuff out, making sure we cover edge cases. Like we found people in 3 quarterback leagues that we weren't processing correctly. So that will get sorted. We weren't showing 2 tight end leagues correctly. So that'll get sorted, and then we'll launch the site. Greasy K is out of trade credits. What we're going to do when we had a proper launch, I think we have like 1,100 users on the site. We're just going to set everyone up with kind of a founder's bonus set so that going into the launch, everyone will get free credits at sign up and at launch. So if you don't have any right now, you will. You will. We'll do a proper announcement probably sometime next week of the actual site launch. You'll get trade credits at your sign up bonus for the first, I don't know, probably a couple hundred people that sign up. And then we'll figure something out, maybe do like a couple team review credit giveaways. But there is a way to do it yet. It's just not turned on yet because I don't want anyone thinking they should be paying for things right now while we're still finding bugs. Like we have had the site not taking trades for a while. Stuff like that we want to have more sorted out. Let's go to Brody Ritter. Brody Ritter in Rants Dynasty. Rants? I don't know what that means. My brain just said say it that way. Brody's in the chat, getting rid of players that have a higher potential 40-point weeks. That's for the CD Lamb trade that we were talking about before. Sometimes it makes sense, Brody. In a deeper league, it sometimes makes sense to split your value so that you have a better starting lineup. I don't think it does in the trade that we just looked at. Deep Pocket, where you can see the queue on trade reviews on Twitch and on YouTube. It's I'm pointing at it right now on the Twitch and YouTube feeds. There's just not enough space on TikTok to fit everything. Maybe we'll build something in to like even on Twitch or even on TikTok. It's very hard to do chat commands. Yep, Deep Pockets. I can see the chat that you're from the TikTok feed. Like even on TikTok, it's hard to do chat commands like exclamation point, Q or something like that. It pulls in the most viewers and gives me the fewest amount of features. But on Twitch and on YouTube, there's just more space. There's a Q going across the top of the screen that I'm pointing at right now. On TikTok, it looks like I'm pointing at nothing. You can see the entire roster of the team that submitted their trade on Twitch and on YouTube. There's just not enough space on TikTok. Like all the stuff below the trade, I think is just chat messages. And I can't even keep my face uncovered. Brody Ritter for this trade, 10-team, 2 quarterbacks, start 9. Let's take a look. Are we sending Derrick Henry, the 104, 205, and 305 for Genty and a first? Yes. Yes, we are. Yes. How are you getting this feels like you shouldn't be getting an extra first on it. Which side of this deal are you? I have an additional 26 second and third round pick. I'm thinking there isn't much value in this draft. Should I use these picks to get Genty? Yes. Looking at your team, you have Derrick Henry. You have the 107. Aren't you trading you're trading pick 104. I don't see you having 104. I see you without the one. I don't see the 104 over here. Maybe this is from a different league, but yes. Maybe this was the 107 that you have on this deal. And in that case, yes, more yes. This feels like you give Derrick Henry and the 104 and get Genty and you come away a massive winner. But then you're sending the 205 and 305 and getting a first on top and you're a massive, massive winner. I'm taking the Genty side here. All right, Greasy with a K. Harold Fannin or Kyle Pitts at a 27 projected late second. Dude, am I sending Fannin for Pitts and an extra second round pick? Maybe. Greasy K is in a 12-team super flex. There's no tight end premium in this league. So I could. Here's how I would look at this one. Like your team is showing right here. You have Fannin. The team's name is Baja Blastin'. I like that. Would I move Fannin for Kyle Pitts and an extra 27 second? This team has, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 27 firsts, an extra 27 second. Have I gone through this team before? I'm not sure if I've gone through this team and done the exercise. At some point with 20, maybe we did. At some point with 5, 6, 27 firsts, we start moving those firsts for players to rebuild now or to contend now. I haven't gone through and done the math of like, if we send 5 27 firsts, would 5 players make us a playoff contender? So I might start to look at, is this rebuild done? But then I would also consider, like, just for this deal, there's a lot of situations where I could say, yes, I'm going to take this 27-second and move it with another second round pick and bring in Derrick Henry and contend, or bring in someone else. Last year, we were sending a couple seconds for like Devontae Adams. So, yeah, this is fine. I don't know that anybody can tell you who's going to score more points next year, Harold Fannin or Kyle Pitts. So if you want to swap and bring in extra trade value, and then you know that you're going to use those second round picks for trades and handle that really well, sure. But that's the way that I would be viewing this trade. If I'm getting this extra second round pick, I don't want to make it. I want to pair it with something else and do kind of the reverse of this move, where it feels like you're down tiering at tight end. I want to take this second round pick and up tier at a different position, or bring in a veteran or something like that. That's the way that I would view this one. I don't really just want to take a projected late 27 round pick and then make it. Jason Z says, no hat. I almost didn't recognize you. I do worry about that. We had long hair for a while, and I did worry, even though like some of the stuff, Jason, on TikTok, it shows my name, my first name in the name of the page or the display name. Like, that's by design. So that hopefully you see it and hopefully someone sees it and reads it. I'm sure there are plenty of people that I watch on TikTok that, like, I see their face, I recognize them, and then could not tell you the name of the page or their first name if it is in the name of the page. So stuff like that, of putting on a hat in the videos, not drastically changing up how I look, is by design. So hopefully, I mean, if you didn't recognize me without the hat, maybe I just need to wear a hat going forward. Some of that's to put the microphone on the hat. Some of that's because I think I look better with a hat. Curtis Murray, if we're putting, I'm not going to read what's Curtis Murray. We do see all the messages. If you're typing out the status of your team or a trade that you have, we are only taking trades through the website, because I can't read a paragraph of who's on your team. That's why we have the website. It just shows us who's on these teams. And since you're watching on YouTube, you can see the teams as we look at this next trade. That's all done by the site. So when you enter your trade in, it automatically does that. And we're not going to pivot off of that. Thomas 1010 in Buffalo Bitches Superflex League. Probably should have looked at what I was about to just confidently say. 10-team Superflex, start 10, 8 starters, PPR half-point tight end premium, shallower league. 80 players start each week. Are we trading Michael Wilson, Trevion Henderson, RJ Harvey for Olave? If the league was deeper, yeah. The notes say you would be giving up Olave. Thomas, we could see it. We can see your team right here. Looks like you already did it. Did you already do this one? The notes say I would be giving up Olave, and when I look at your team, you don't have Olave, and you do have Michael Wilson, Trevion Henderson. Has something gone wrong here, Thomas, or did you already, I mean, the trade came in within the last 20 minutes. Did you accept the trade? Because the notes specifically from you say I would, and this is more of, we just got to make sure that the site works. Thomas says, I actually did do it. Just wanted thoughts. Okay. In a 10-team Superflex start 8. Also, Curtis, this is why we make the trades come through the site, because in this scoring that shows up on your screen, actually you're on YouTube, the scoring's over here. On TikTok, the scoring shows down here. I want the best player. 10-team start 8 means like 80 players start each week, and that is a shallower pool. The leagues that we do through our site are 12 by 10. Neither is better, but it's 12 teams start 10. So you're starting 120 players. So, and value is finite. So if the league is deeper, you have to spread value to more players. You start more players each week. More players on the bench have a possibility of getting started. But if your league is 10 by 8, nothing is saying that's a bad league, but it is shallower. And that means that value that would go to someone like RJ Harvey, who's going to be probably a good RB2 this year, is just lower. That value goes to Michael Wilson it's just lower. I like Trevion Henderson. And if this was a deeper league, I'd probably say the crossover is like Olave for Henderson and a little bit, and then you're getting more on top. But in a shallower league, I just want the best player. We get some of these teams where, like looking at your team now, you have, it shows up on the screen for people on the TikTok. You got Puka, you got CeeDee Lamb, you had Chris Olave who would be starting for you. And now you're looking at like Casey Concepcion, Michael Wilson, Jacoby Myers. You just have a worse starting lineup. You have more guys on the bench. You have more depth. You traded for RJ Harvey, who then like Trevion Henderson goes into your starting lineup, but you had a starting lineup of Scatabo and Josh Jacobs. Like you could have maybe gone for a better running back somewhere else to get the lineup better, but we just added a bunch of depth value here that doesn't win you weeks, doesn't win you playoff weeks, doesn't reliably make a difference for you during the season, like week to week. So I would have probably stuck with Olave or gone with something else in this league format. It's not like we can re-expand on what I said at one point, saying like in a deeper league, yeah, that's fine. So I don't think this is a massive misstep. But I try to, if I'm in a shallower league, I want to be consolidating more often rather than going from 1 to 3. Even if I feel like I'm getting a value in, I really want to consider, am I making the best starting lineup? Greasy K saying Olave could get an extension and his value could go up. I don't know that it goes up that much if he gets an extension. Maybe he gets like a small boom in perceived value for a week or two. But I think all the people that are still worried about concussions are still going to be worried about them. I can't say that you made a mistake. I don't know the future, but I personally would have just stuck with Olave or looked for other changes or other trades. We're on to the next one. Ooh, are they here? We've had a trade from Sadiq, and I'm just going to say it like that, Sadiq, and they told me I said it wrong, but I don't know that we ever clarified how to say it, so I'll apologize. We'll cover the trade. The notes say, I'm a contender looking to win the championship. Did I overpay for Christian Watson? You sent the 112 for Christian Watson. I see that you have the 109. We're bringing in Watson. Looking at the depth of the team that shows up right here, this is another situation. This is one of the situations where even in a deeper league, I might be trying to do some consolidating at wide receiver. Did we overpay for Christian Watson? I think on the market, a little bit. I think on the market, we overpaid a little bit. Christian Watson, I have seen him going around this price. I think we did a video on Christian Watson in the last couple weeks. I think we've mentioned he was going anywhere from the 111 to like the 204. So is the 112 the higher end of that market? A little bit. But is it an overpay? No. Compared to who we're taking there, like second and third round NFL draft wide receivers don't have that high of a hit rate. Christian Watson was a second round wide receiver and has sort of hit multiple years later. Pocket change, everyone overvalues their players in my league. I try to just get in more leagues where I end up having each player somewhere so we can get away from that. That is true. People do. So do we overpay? I think the thing here is with the team that you have, again, we can see it. It's right here. Are we ever reliably starting Christian Watson? Like we have Emeka Egbuka, George Pickens, Jalen Waddle, AJ Brown, Alec Pierce, Jordan Addison, Christian Watson. We got to start to consolidate some of this. It's a 12-team start 10, but we have like Drake May, Justin Herbert. Let's just count out 10, 2. That's 2 at quarterbacks. Then we're starting Breece Hall, Cam Scatabo. Then we're starting Egbuka, Pickens, Waddle, AJ Brown, Alec Pierce, and Trey McBride at tight end as 10. We'll try to show all the fingers on TikTok. Like is Christian Watson regularly starting for this team? The 112 is also in that same range, not regularly starting for this team. So we should call that out as well. But I think the next steps here is like, could we have taken the 112 and paired it with Alec Pierce and gotten a better player, or the 112 with Jalen Waddle and just gotten a better player in our lineup. So pocket change, you're just looking to add depth. Like, we have a ton of depth here. Because the draft hasn't happened yet. This person is also going to take someone at the 109. So we're adding into another thing. I think we start to consolidate some of that soon. I'm just gonna mark this one like this is the market price. So I think what we're doing is we're having two conversations. That is the market price, but also consolidate after that. The Friendly Exchange says, love the site, got both my teams in. If I do a 3-year outlook, is there space in the queue tonight to do the 3-year like team review? No, not for team reviews tonight. So I think what we've said, I'll clear it with the wife, is that we'll do this show Wednesday. And then next week we'll do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, with Tuesday just being full team reviews, final technical test. And then going forward, it'll be Monday, Wednesday with team reviews happening on every show and trades happening on every show with the site launch. There's some stuff that we want to add with team reviews that's just not done yet. Like stuff with adding a snapshot of your team when you submitted the review, and then a website you can come back to that links out to the video, and then we'll add in suggested trades to make, stuff like that. Juicy J, do we have a trade review queue? We do. So you can submit your trades. I'm pointing at the TikTok feed. Submit your trades at boombustfantasy.com. That's where we have the queue. If you're watching on, here's the thing that is just a reality, Juicy J. There's not enough real estate to make a readable show on TikTok. Like, we have got to see the roster on widescreen platforms, because when we go through these, we show the entire roster of the person who submitted the trade, because they sync their team to the site and we can show it. That's where we get the league scoring that shows up down here. And once we get into trades this big, like, it starts covering my face. There's chat below the screen. Like, there's just not enough space. I could maybe make my head really, really small on TikTok and try to fit that on there, but it's not. It becomes really dense and unreadable. We try not to put too much information on the screen, because we still get people in the chat who don't read the stuff that we have here. Submit your trades at boombustfantasy.com. That's the only spot that we take trades, and they still type them in the chat. So we try to minimize what shows up, because it would just become too dense. And TikTok doesn't let us do chat commands like !Q that we could add into Twitch and YouTube. We just can't do it on TikTok. That's not a feature that is easily done. Let's go with this one here. This is the second one from Sadiq. Is Sadiq pocket change? Was I grabbing that right? It's a 12-team super flex. Is this the same league for life? Yes. You got Breece Hall, AJ Brown, a 27 third on one side. You'd be bringing in AJ and Breece, and you'd be sending away Sean Tucker, Josh Downs, the 107, a 27 first, 27 second and third. Let's break this down, because if we're just looking at a 27 first for AJ Brown, that's been about the price. So if we start crossing stuff off, pocket change says, yes, that's me. So let's start just knocking stuff off here. There's a lot of like small bits and bobs here, but if we find the biggest pieces, a 27 first for AJ Brown, fine. And this is some of that consolidation we were talking about, of just getting you the better receiver into your lineup. The 107 for Breece Hall starts to look around, like, we're looking at the two pieces that you're getting, Breece Hall for AJ Brown. You should probably be able to get those things for the 107 and the 27 first. Should be able to just get you Breece Hall for AJ Brown. So a 27 third for a 27 second, 28 third, Josh Downs and Sean Tucker feels like a lot. I think am I reading this one wrong? Okay, you sent those things to get AJ Brown. Yeah, I'd say it's when we say it's a lot, sort of, but also not a ton. Like, let's start to break this down and try to get a gauge of like, what's the value exchange that happened here. I have seen AJ Brown traded for a 27 first multiple times over. Breece Hall for the 107 is in that range. Maybe you're throwing on a little bit more. A 28 third, fine. And then we're looking at Sean Tucker, Josh Downs, and a 27 second to bring in a 27 third. That's where it starts to feel like we've gone a little bit over, but also I care more about like players worth a first or more and first round picks. So when we're saying like it's a little bit over to go from the 27 second and Josh Downs to a 27 third, it's not a massive amount over, and it could be stuff that just kind of fades away. So like I probably think you could have gotten like not included a second on the deal and not included this extra third and gotten the same deal through. But does the second and third make a huge difference? Not really. But I'm going to say like I think the value was on the bigger package side, but it's still not a horrible setup. Okay, the last one that I see in the queue from Juice J. You linked your league on the site. Here it is. Juicy J, game of inches. All this stuff is already made, Juicy J. You didn't even have to type out your team. Your team's right here. Who did we have type in their team earlier? Curtis Murray was typing his team earlier. Submitted on the site. Sorry about that again. Curtis, you're fine. Did we cover yours, Curtis? Juicy J, I mean, Curtis typed out his whole team. Juicy didn't have to. It's right here. Would we send Jaden Daniels for Jeremiah Love in a 12-team Superflex start 9? When we're looking at 1-for-1 swaps, you can pull up a site like this. Let's pivot to this. And this might be one of the final things we do because we're at 2 hours. It's getting late here. And this is where we sleep. This is where the room my wife sleeps in. I almost said my family sleeps in this room. This is not a Willy Wonka situation. We do not all sleep in the same room, but if I'm in here speaking loudly, people do got to go to bed. So let me stop speaking so I can think of the thing I'm looking for. Here we go. If your trade is just 1-for-1, like one, I like when you submit it through the site, but sometimes, especially in situations like this, I'm going to come to a site called Dynasty Data Lab and pull up their ADP startup. So you're in a 12-team Superflex start 9 that's very similar to the ADPs that we're looking at right here. And it looks like, I would guess that Jaden Daniels right here at pick 8 is ahead of someone like Jeremiah Love. He's probably a second to third rounder in a startup. Yeah. In the second round. So if you're moving on from Jaden Daniels, you could probably get quite a bit more on top of Jeremiah Love. And you have Jaden Daniels. So I would pull up something like that. This is just real startup drafts that have happened. We're going to build a similar feature like this onto our site at some point in the future, but Dynasty Data Labs has this built out. Their sample is 461 startup leagues that have happened. So it's a pretty big sample size of a lot of people saying they would take Jaden Daniels close to a full round ahead of Jeremiah Love. So you should be getting more on top of Jeremiah Love. We'll mark that one. Where are we? Okay, I see 2 more. These are going to be the final ones that we take from Murr and Tef. Murr, 2. 10-team Superflex start 10, half-point tight end premium. How are we feeling on this one? Ooh. This is going to be a jack trade. On one side, Drake May. On the other side, Jalen Hurts, Brian Thomas, and a 27 first. The notes here say, trading with a rebuilding team, he wants May. The 27 first is not his own and is the 27 first of a contender. Is Brian Thomas Jr. and a first with the 4-year gap from the down tier of May to Hurts? I'm taking Jalen Hurts here. This is a me setup. I like Jalen Hurts. I think what was he, QB 8 last year in a year where everyone hated him and he was still top 12. The running is just always going to be there. So I'm going with that and then getting multiple things on top, buying low on Brian Thomas and getting a 27 first on top. I think I'm taking the Jalen Hurts side. We may be looking at this and saying, depending on your league, like there's a ton of people that just don't like Jalen Hurts, and I don't understand it. He just performs. May sucks, Hurts side by a mile. I don't really often get into that sort of level of take of just who sucks. Hay has had less rushing yards than Herbert last year. He still was really, really good, Dusty Demise. He was still quite good. So I like Jalen Hurts, and I don't think you're getting, if I was offered this, yeah, I would probably take the Brian Thomas and the 27 first, even if it means I'm then taking my 27 first and that 27 first and bringing in another quarterback, or not, excuse me, not another quarterback, like another wide receiver or another player. So I would look at that. You don't have to do it. There's going to be plenty of people that don't take the deal, or that don't want Jalen Hurts, or that don't like that deal. And if you don't want to do it, I think that's fine. I personally would, but this is one where like you don't have to. You're not, it's not a for sure value in on the Hurts side. This is the final one that we're doing from Chode Zone Fantasy, the Dynasty League. 12 teams, Superflex start 8 on one side. Rome Odunze and Trevion Henderson. On the other side, Ashton Genty. You would be giving up Genty here. I don't think you have to give up Genty here. This is my first thought on the trade. In a 12-team start 8, I might just take the better player. I like the upside of Trevion. I believe that he could still be fine. But do we need to bring him in with Rome Odunze? Is there a reason for your team to split Ashton Genty? You got Genty and Tootin. It's a super flex. You're going with Bonix, Mendoza, who might not start the year. Ted, Jordan, like you do need players to feel better about contending. This roster would need players. I'd say like try to get a trade where you're pulling in a future first if you're moving Genty. I don't know that this would be the move that I would do with this roster as it stands. If it doesn't go right, you could end up way worse, and the upside doesn't feel as sure, or I don't feel as sure about the upside of Rome Odunze and Trevion Henderson. Like I like Rome. It could definitely work out for the Bears. Bears are my team. Like he could be the lead guy and be great. Trevion Henderson could become better at blocking, better at reading the hole and going. But I don't know that the upside is like that certain. I don't feel that confident about it. And I don't think it's that high, where if I'm moving on from Genty, I kind of want I'd rather one of these things here be a pretty good 27 first and a better player for a deal. So I think I'm just sticking with Genty on this for this team. And that was the last one that we'll get through. I do see the message from Juice saying with the considering your roster for the trade, I would have to find it. 986 is live, so you might be trade 985. Let me see if I can pull that one up again, Juice. Considering I think the answer is that your roster was included, but since you're here, I'm not sure if you're still here. If you're here, we'll pull it up, Juice. I'll see if I can quickly get to it though. That was from Merce. Let's go to 984 to see Juice. Oh, the trade that Juice was asking about was Jaden Daniels or Jeremiah Love, considering his roster. I wouldn't consider the roster. The trade that we were talking about, it wasn't, we'll clear the, we do pull the rosters for each trade question that we look at. Let's take this one and just show. Juice just wanted to take a look and say, hey, for sure, would you do that with the roster that he has? And we can show that. We can show that again as the last thing we do. Jaden Daniels for Jeremiah Love. This is the one where we were saying you should get more on top with Jeremiah Love if you're moving Jaden Daniels. With the roster that you have, Jaden Daniels moving over to bring in another running back, you should still just get more. The roster showing Ken Walker, Trevion Henderson. Like, we're not desperate for running back. So if we're just going to take a value loss and a potential value loss on top of that with more, with Jaden Daniels bouncing back to being a top 5 startup pick or top 3 startup pick if he gets back to where he was for Jeremiah Love, the roster wouldn't really even come into play. You should just get more. So we'll wrap it up. That will be the end of things here. We will be back on Monday. Thank you guys for being with us. Thank you for helping get this going. We'll close it out here. Thank you for all the questions that came through, and we will find the buttons to end out the show. Take care, take care, take care.